These free Palestine people starting to get on my nerves now. Every time some sort of disaster hit America, they sitting up in the comments talking about free Palestine as if it's happening because of something that happened to Palestine. While you sit up in America and eat good and live good, just like the rest of us, you waiting for the downfall. Bro, if you don't send these people home, go home, go home.
Madam, my father is Palestinian, and if he could go home, he would. If my cousins that were born and raised in Palestine, if they could go home, they would. Some people can't return home because Israel doesn't allow them to turn to their native land. Trust me, they want to go home. Many of us would love to go over there. Even me, myself, raised and born in the U.S., I would love to go live on my father's land, but I'm not allowed to. Okay, because when we speak up about Palestine, we're not allowed to return home anymore. And the reason why it is such an issue, the reason why we say free Palestine every time something happens here in the U.S. is because our tax dollars in the U.S. are funding genocides across the globe, not just in Palestine. So when we say free Palestine, that means free all of us. $17.9 billion from our tax dollars was sent to the Israeli military. Last year, $8 billion was sent to Israel. The fires in California could have been put out yesterday with all of that money. The people suffering in North Carolina and wherever else the other flooding was, that could have been solved. Homelessness in the U.S. could be solved in one day and finished. But instead, our tax dollars in the U.S. are being sent across the globe to fund wars and genocide. I have said it multiple times in videos. Do not let our crooked governments devise the people. You think us as Palestinians, we don't feel bad for the people in LA? Besides the Zionists, I don't feel bad for the Zionists. Of course we feel bad for them. Look at all the people in LA who have had to start GoFundMes to raise money, to rebuild their homes, to have clothes, to have food. Why isn't the government paying for that? We can fund wars, but we can't help our own. I agree with you. America first. That is why we are trying to tell you when we say free Palestine is to free the world, people. Listen, we could free Palestine. We could free any other oppressed country across the globe that our tax dollars are funding. Just stop funding it. We need the U.S. to stop funding the genocides, to stop funding the wars across the globe. And you keep saying, go home, go home. We are not indigenous to this land in the U.S. either. We are also living on stolen land. This land belongs to the native indigenous people of this land. And we need to give them their land back, quite frankly, too. So we do care about our brothers and sisters in North Carolina and in LA. It's not fun watching innocent human beings start GoFundMe pages to rebuild their lives when it could have all been stopped and it could have all been funded by the U.S. government, but we're too busy meddling in other places across the globe. When we say free Palestine, ladies and gentlemen, is for all of us. Remember, united we stand, divided we fall. Stay united. Stay united, ladies and gentlemen. Do not let the government divide you. Go home, Gad. And just one last thing, and for the love of God and everything holy, before any of you speak up on something, do your research. Our tax dollars in the United States of America are funding free healthcare and free schooling for Israel. Our tax dollars are funding free healthcare and free schooling for Israel. How many of you here in the United States of America had to pick up 2-3 jobs to pay for your child's school education? for your child's health care. Some of us here in the U.S. couldn't even pay for diabetes medication. It is all linked together, ladies and gentlemen. I sure do agree, America first. I really do, and I'm with you, and we care about all oppressed and innocent people in the United States of America. Our fight isn't just for free Palestine, it is to free the world. It's all linked together. Wake up. Oh, and just one last thing. Free Palestine, and free Palestine, and all oppressed nations across the globe.